No more blinking, fix the light issue. Hello and welcome to RC Birds, and thanks for stopping by. It's time to start with my BT-01. The channel Fast Freddy RC did this car as a giveaway in the last year. Thanks a lot for this, Freddy. And if you don't know Fast Freddy RC, I put a link into the description of this video, so please check him out. For this car, or the series about this car, I have a different access to it. On my researches, I found a lot of videos which complained about the slop this car has, and this is the first and the main point on my agenda. I had some ideas for this car, but to this I come later in this video. I do a quick unboxing and after that I'll be back. So, short look at the box. Here you see two of the configurations. This is a front motor and front wheel drive, and this is a middle motor and rear wheel drive. Same here at the side. There's also the version everyone wants with the motor in the front and the rear wheel drive. And here are the both other versions. Tuning parts, additional parts you need. Here the QR codes. To this I come later. And it says including an ESC. That's everything. I had already opened it up to check some things, but I packed it as it was before. Here's the body. I think I had this body on a AA back in the 90s, and there the wheel wells were cutted out. ESC, this is a 1060 with Tamiya plug. The front lights, or the light housings. This can be drilled out and put an LED in. The rear wing. The rims. Tires. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Smells like original tires. That's great. Parts for the shocks. Drive shafts and axles. The sheet no one reads. Stickers. And I think this is the sheet. Yeah. The window masks. Oh, the sheet with the window masks. The main instruction. Here are the main configurations. Middle motor and rear drive. Front motor and front drive. I'll get to it later. And here the front motor and rear wheel drive. Now comes the hidden compartment. Ta-da! Oh, also this antenna tube was in the upper box. Gear housings. Main chassis part. Front parts and body mounts. Another chassis part. And here are more chassis parts. And this is gear housing, uprights, wheel connectors, and so on and so on. And the last thing I have in this box is this bag with the bags. Bag A, bag B, bag C. This looks like the servo saver, the bumper, gear parts, silver can motor, again steering parts, 2 servo savers. Okay, not sure why there are 2, but I take it. And screws and pins. And here's even 1 ball bearing. Okay, this is everything for the unboxing. So what I'm planning with this car. I like to do a pace car for my speedrun cars, so it gets the same livery as the other cars, right above here. And I do some additional lights, flashing lights, front lights. I see what I get, because for a pace car I don't have to look at the weight like on the speed cars. So this is the first access, and then for sure it's a Tamiya car. I need ball bearings. I want a faster motor. I think Kyosho has a 14x1 brushed motor, 550 size. I like to try this for this car. And also here the colors. I know what colors I need: pearl white, green metallic, white as per backing color, and translucent silver. And for sure number plates. And these are the first things I need for the car. For sure a servo, a receiver. I take the 7-channel receiver for my Carson, which has a gyro in it. This should be good, especially if the car is wobbling around, and I won't have solved it. Yes. What else do I need? Oh yeah, I changed the 1060 which is in the car, because it has a Tamiya plug, and I have here in my garage some with DIN plugs. If I want to use a Tamiya battery, I still can use an adapter, but I like to have the car run on 2S, and for this I need a DIN plug. Also, I set on the box there was a QR code. It's hard to see in the light, but they give you the tuning parts. Motors, blue bling bling, some screws. I see which of them I will put into my car. Especially when it comes to get down the slope. I think these short axles for the part of the car which has no drive. This would be interesting. I had never had it before. Then oil fill shocks. Yep. But I know there is a set with 4 shocks, which is much cheaper than the 2 shocks in comparison of both. Or 2 sets with the 2 shocks cost more than 1 set with 4 shocks. But in the 4 shock, I don't think they have all the ball ends, because set with the 4 shocks is made for a typical chassis. Metal wheel connectors, high torque servo saver, always great to reduce slop, and these friction bolts coming in the suspension arms. These are the things I like to do. There's also one option I like to fix now, which is a chassis option, which I like to use, MR, FF or FR. And therefore I change the camera to the box. There are sketches on it and it's much easier to explain what I mean. So let's have a short look on the chassis options. I don't go into the manuals, I take the box because the sketches are very good. You can build the chassis in 3 options: MR, midship rear motor, rear wheel drive, or FF, front motor, front wheel drive, or FR, front motor and rear wheel drive. Every version has the option of 2 wheelbases, 251 and 257 mm. For the Supra body, the chassis gets a 257 mm wheelbase. The MR and the FF chassis are in principle the same, but they are turned around. You can see that this section with the motor and the servo is here at the rear. Battery section is the same, and then we have the lengthening section for the car. You just turn the chassis around, turn the diff around, turn the bumper around, change the wheels, the adjustment of the suspension arms, and then you're almost done, and for sure the body mounts. So in the end these both are the same, with slightly some changes, and just turned around. For the FR chassis it's slightly different. I take the FR compared to the FF for an easier thing. The motor and servo section is the same. The section with the battery here isn't anymore here. They put the receiver and the ESC and put them aside. In the middle you have a little bit space for a shorty LiPo battery, and the battery, which was former in the middle of the car, gets at the back of the car, plus it's lifted up. This is because the drive shaft goes through the chassis and you cannot put the battery down like it's here in the other 2 versions. So this sits really high in the car. As I first heard about the BT-01, I thought, great, a scale-driven car with a motor in the front and a rear-wheel drive. I wanted this version. Right now, I'm out. Having the battery higher than the shoulder line of the body doesn't sound good for me. I think this is a bad attitude for the point of gravity. And then there's a plastic drive shaft. This wasn't a great idea even on the TT series. Maybe someone produces metal drive shafts in the near future, and I'll get back to this. For now I stay on the MR version. Middle motor sounds good, although it's not scale, and only in this version I can twist the main gearbox with the motor on 90 degrees, so the motor sits more in the middle. Okay, it's lifted up. I know this sounds crazy. The battery I don't want to sit high up in the car, but for the motor I say it's okay. For sure, the motor will be working against the POG, but the motor sits then right in the middle of the car. Oh, and one thing I saw, the FF and FR version are basically the same in the front, which means you can use this drive shaft, put it in here, buy another differential, and then I got a 4-wheel car. This is an option I keep in mind. Maybe I can realize this too. It depends on the cost. For sure you need some extra parts like dog bones and the drive cups coming out of the differential, etc, etc. But for the principle you got the short drive shaft like here and the long drive shaft to the rear. Maybe this be an interesting thing too. I also searched the weight distribution of all the 3 versions I can build to the chassis. The MR has 43% at the front and 57% at the rear. FF 48 for the front and 42 for the rear, and FR 47 for the front and 53 for the rear. In conclusion, the FR is around 10% better to the 50-50 ideal than the MR, but with this I can live. And keep in mind, the battery is very high in the FR version. Okay, it's RCB Pace Car. I go with the MR version I go with a 7-channel version, and most of the upgrades are done in the building process. I may run into some dead ends, but I think this is a little bit more interesting for you to see than a straight-on build. The next time I'm getting to this car, the first upgrade pass should arrive here and I can start with the build. I cannot say if this is in 1 week, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This is a build which might take over the whole spring in my schedule. So I hope you like this series. If you got some questions, the comment section is yours. And as always, please like, share and subscribe. See you soon on RC Birds.
RC birds flying high, cars that roar and engines cry. From cold it's slow to speed runs fast, moments building, memories last.